We'll start off by saying you're tuned into 91.3 WVKR. The show is LocalMotion, airs live each and every Wednesday, 4 to 6 p.m. Please consider subscribing to the LocalMotion on 91.3 WVKR YouTube channel, as well as giving it a follow on Facebook. And now let's get today's guest on the show. Bill, are you there?
I sure am, Rita. Hi, everybody.
Hey, man, so good to see you and hear, well, not see you, but it's good to hear your voice. And I really do look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. So what I would like to do, if I may, I'd like to do a brief introduction to the listeners here and start off by saying, considered by many to be one of the finest American piano, rock, and blues musicians, Bill Payne has worked with countless artists. He is best known as co-founder of the legendary band Little Feat. He's worked and recorded with J.J. Cale, Jimmy Buffett, Doobie Brothers, Emmylou Harris, Pink Floyd, Jackson Browne, Carly Simon, Bonnie Raitt, just to name a few. Little Feat is currently touring in support of the 45th anniversary of their iconic album, Waiting for Columbus, and will be in the Hudson Valley at Ulster Performing Arts Center in Kingston on September 23rd. They'll also be at the Capitol Theater in Port Chester, New York on September 20. And I'll be offering one lucky listener a pair of tickets to see Little Feat in Kingston on the 23rd after our conversation. And with that, a warm welcome to LocalMotion, Mr. Bill Payne.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for the lovely introduction.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah. And it comes with a hug, too, a virtual hug, like over the phone and all of that. So that's cool. I think when I met you in person, it was with at the Falcon when you were there with Larry and Teresa. And I did an interview we recorded up in the green room up there. And that was like my first, meeting you in person kind of stuff. And
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun and, good stuff. So let's start with This Is Your Life, Bill Payne. Let's back it up a little bit. You grew up in Waco, Texas, and then moved to California. Is that correct?
Well, I was born in Waco, and at age 2, we all moved to California, to Ventura. And so I guess I was walking by that time, but other than that, Mama and Dad, I wasn't really, I hadn't really grown up anyway. Once a Texan, always a Texan, or so they say, so here I am.
Here you are, yeah. And talk about the start of music in your world. Is it true that your dad gave you a baritone ukulele?
It is not. I combined, in my more mischievous mood, another bio with a guy named Bill E. Payne. And he had grown up playing ukulele. He was an accordion player and various, groups of that nature.
So that is not the Bill Payne I'm talking to. The one I'm talking to today is the one that started playing piano because your mom was teaching you how, or you were sitting on her knee.
Yeah, that was it. I'm that guy. And the little girl across the street, who was Marilyn Newell, this is in Ventura, California, she was playing piano, and at around age 5, kids, hey, if she can do it, I should do it. Kind of scene. So that's how I began. I had a teacher named Ruth Newman, who was like a second mother to me, whom I took piano lessons from age 5 to age 15.
Wow.
And
was that classical, Bill, or what was that?
It was classical, it was piano, it was the romantic era, so it would have been Beethoven, Brahms, Haydn. There was some Bach in there, which is not the romantic era, but I learned a little bit of everything on the classical side of things. Mm-hmm. And she also, at about age 10, maybe 11, I started playing pipe organ. And
wow.
Was rented out to every church in town to play either piano, or if they had an organ, I'd do that. So that's kind of where I started everything, was from that.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool. Great. Do you believe, like, if you're trained classically on an instrument, after that you can kind of almost play any genre?
No, I hate to keep saying no, but the reason I feel that way is there's a guy named Ralph Grierson. I don't know if I hope Ralph is still with us. He's one of the premier pianists in the world. And there's Fantasia 2, which came out. He was one of the moderators on that movie that they spoke to. Ralph can play anything. He sat me down once at a session I was doing for a movie. I was having a tough time reading the chart, and he said, don't worry about these charts. I can read anything they throw at me. I go, I know, I've heard your piano Gershwin rolls. I know you played on Bartok's piano and percussion scores and all this. He said, yeah, that's right, but I can't do what you do, which is sit down at a piano and start playing as if it were written for you, but I know it's not, and you can just carry on that conversation as long or as short as you want. I don't know how the hell you do it. And I said, well, coming from you, I was like flabbergasted, to be honest with you. So the classical part of it has helped me along the lines of fingering, being able to play in every key, etc. But the music in and of itself doesn't approach what it takes to play Professor Longhair or some of the parts on A Little Richard or just anything. So, but right. What it mainly does for everyone listening out there is it informs my vocabulary above all. I've got a pretty good vocabulary when it comes to music, and I'm still learning because that's the way we, or most of us, I hope, are treating the language we speak or languages.
Right.
If we're lucky.
Right.
And there we go. So that's broaden your vocabulary. That's what helps you communicate.
What were you listening to when you were a teenager?
I'm going to start off with Elvis Presley because my sister, God rest her soul, she passed away last, December 7th of last year.
Oh, so sorry.
Yeah, she went to high school I want to say 57, 58. So Pink Poodle skirts, two-tone shoes, Job's daughter, the whole 9 yards. Here's a quarter so I can make out with my boyfriend in the car. Bill, leave us alone. That sister. Anne won a record, I think, and it was a Hound Dog, Elvis Presley. I loved the music, but I also loved the little dog on RCA Records cocking his head listening to the gramophone that was on the 45 record.
Yeah.
So I started off with him, and then radio took me the rest of the way, which is why I love radio.
Yep.
And so I'm listening to Alley Oop, the Hollywood Argyles. They had a comedy record on John Fitzgerald Kennedy when he was the president for that brief while he was in office. But then there was Fats Domino. There was in fourth grade I was listening to the Olympics, Big Boy Pete, which was a New Orleans style track, but it was something they were playing in Ventura, California. So I was a kid brought up on rock and roll in terms of what I was listening to.
Yeah, but training classically, but listening to the rock and roll. Hey, I guess that's pretty diversified. So that's
well. And one last point to that, my teacher told my mom, she says, "I'll make sure Bill knows how to read music, but let's not get in the way of his imagination on this thing. Let's let him play what he wants. Something magic out of it."
Yep.
So the magic for me was sitting down at the piano and practicing, but the real magic was playing what came off the top of my head.
Nice.
And exploring the instrument, which I still do. So, and I'm 73.
That's awesome.
So that's a lifetime of
improv.
Loving.
Yeah,
improvisation.
Right.
That's why I put such an emphasis on vocabulary, because you might want to speak in terms of Shakespeare, but if you don't know the language, you can't speak it.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, very, very, very good point about that. So, teenager, you're listening to all this cool stuff. You're on the piano, you're on the keyboards, you're doing this stuff. What's your first band?
First band I joined was at age 15. It was called the Debonaires, and the group that I actually was auditioning for was to play drums. And they were not the Debonaires, but they had a piano set up in one of the...
Oops, are you there? Bill, I think I lost you. Are you there? Hello? Oh, no. It's live radio, everybody. Let's see if he comes back. There you are. Hello, Bill? You're there again.
Yeah, hey, yes, I'm here again.
Okay, so we're talking about the Debonaires.
Debonaires. I auditioned for what turned out to be the Debonaires to play drums. And the band looked at me, and when I played the piano that was standing over in the corner, they go, "You play the piano?" And I go, "Yeah." "Forget this group. We have a group called the Debonaires. You're going to play keyboards for us, and we're going to restart the Debonaires." So that was a group in Santa Maria, California. And from there, I did pretty much what I do to this day, which is I'm in a central band, in this case, Little Feat. But I play with a lot of other people, too. So that's...
Yeah, you most certainly do. I love the website, littlefeat.net, the start of Little Feat, and how it began in 1969 when, I love it, that Frank Zappa was smart enough to fire Lowell George from the Mothers of Invention.
Yeah. Yeah, he let Lowell go because of the song "Willin'."
Really?
Yes. I don't think he liked the drug references and weed, whites, and wine.
Right.
So,
which is my next song after you and I are done. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, Lowell's talent was really the thing that I think Frank was really pushing for. Was let's get Lowell out there on his own, or with a band in this case, and let's see what he can do. It's been erroneously reported that I auditioned for the Mothers and didn't pass, and went into Little Feat instead. I never did audition for Frank's band. I did want to meet him, but he was over in Europe when I first got in touch with his labels, Bizarre Records, which is really a subsidiary of Warner Brothers.
Oh.
By the time I met Frank, I had already figured I'm going to be in a band with Lowell, and I don't think I would have passed an audition, to be honest, had I gone through a formal audition with Frank. That music's just so complicated.
Yeah.
I still didn't read that well, but I could read. But I was very happy where I landed, which was with Lowell George. Really shortly thereafter, Richie Hayward came from a group called the Fraternity of Man.
Wow. Wow. And you guys all you guys all were in California at the time, right? In 1969 when Feat started?
Yes. I was coming down from Isla Vista in Santa Maria. Isla Vista was where the University of Santa Barbara, California was, or is. And I really didn't want to be in L.A., but what got me down there was Frank, and there's an album called Uncle Meat. I just love that album. And but one of the secretaries at Warner's asked to check out Lowell George because Frank was over in Europe. So,
oh man,
that's how all that came down.
And then and of course the name. Most people, Feat fans for sure, know how the name came up. But in case someone isn't familiar how Little Feat got its name, tell us how you did.
Jimmy Carl Black was the, I can't say it any other way because this is forgive me for the political incorrectness. He was the Indian of the group, and the group was the Mothers of Invention. He was hanging out with Lowell. Lowell had on these huaraches, these sandals, and he looked at Lowell's feet, which were as wide as they were long, and kind of like hobbit feet. And he goes, "God, Lowell, you got these little bleeping feet there." And so Lowell took that and turned the F-E-E-T into an F-E-A-T. And a year later, that's when we put the name to the group. We didn't start off as Little Feat.
What did you start off as?
Well, we had Lyle Gleep. I don't know, we might have had a couple of names floating around. And even when we finally hit Little Feat, there was a group called Bigfoot that was on Warner Brothers. And we were concerned about that. But I said, "Well, I'm sure they're a great band and a good bunch of people, but I think we're going to last and they're not."
Right.
So pretty much what happened.
Yeah, 50-something years later, here you are. So, yeah. And your first album was made how long after, like, you guys got together?
It took about a year before Roy Estrada settled in with us as bass player. We got a deal at Warner Brothers about 8 or 9 months after we started, and we started recording.
Wow.
And that was the record Little Feat. So yeah, it took a while. It took 9 months to a year. So it was a proper burst, I guess.
By some others, that's a very short time. So I guess it all depends on how you look at it. And then, of course, your first album, that was where Willing was on, right? Easy to Slip, Trouble, yeah. The rest.
The first album had Willing on it.
Yeah.
And it sounds like a caricature of a truck driver.
Mm-hmm.
So when you listen to the next album, which is Sailing Shoes, and you hear that rendition of Willing, Lowell's voice it's just perfect for the song, as was Easy to Slip.
Right.
There's a piano part in it, which there wasn't on the very first album for Willing. It was more of a country song than, as I said, a caricature of a truck driver singing about truck driving and weed, whites, and wine. I think that's what put the Sailing Shoes is what put that song on the map.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, I mean, you guys toured all over the place as well. You started to get these amazing albums and these great deals with all these tours that you guys did too, which were pretty amazing. I want to also just say that in what year Dixie came out? 73, right?
Yeah, we recorded it in 72, and it probably came out in 73.
73, yeah, another one. I mean, just, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was one hit after the other, one thing after the other with you guys, that's for sure. And then, yeah, I mean, I think I saw you guys in the 80s at some point, and then again opening up for the Grateful Dead back in the early 90s or something. And you guys had also obviously taken a little break and then come back together. And Waiting for Columbus, the tours that you're now doing, is the 45th anniversary of that. How is that, playing that album? You're playing it cover to cover now, right? Like when you're on tour?
We are. We're excuse me. We're not replicating the songs so much as we are the orders that they were on that first record, not the expanded version, but the original Waiting for Columbus.
Right.
We have two new members, Scott Gerard on vocals and slide guitar and guitar, of many varieties of guitars, and Tony Leone is playing drums. He also sings.
Yep.
With us. And Tony, I honest to God, didn't know what he sang when he joined our band.
Is that right? Wow, that's a nice little added bonus. Yeah. No, Tony's a powerhouse here from the area too, the Hudson Valley, of course, with Levon and Ola Bell and Chris Robinson and all of that, and then Scott too. What's such amazing members that you guys have there, and any videos that I've seen of you guys touring, you just sounds so good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it really does. You guys have also been, your fans are absolutely amazing, as you well know, right? And you have these Jamaica camps, you have all these other camps. What do you guys have coming up? Are you doing a cruise or something by the looks of your website?
So there's a cruise in March. We've got an announcement to make pretty soon, I think, as to where we're going. We're not going to Jamaica for our 20th this time. The way we viewed the 20th anniversary was not the end to something. We kind of looked at it as the beginning of something.
Good for you.
If you're looking at it as the beginning of something, then where do you want to take it other than Jamaica? So that's what we actually have worked out, but we want to announce it in one fell swoop.
Beautiful.
We'll do soon,
yeah.
yeah, it's going to be exciting for all involved. I got to say.
Oh man, that's really good stuff. You, like you said, also, I mean, Little Feat, obviously a big part of life and your career, but you've also played with the Doobie Brothers, and you've played with a whole bunch of people recording and all of that. Talk about some of the other memories, if you would, please, of some of the other bands that you've performed with, whether recording or touring.
Well, I guess I toured for 6 years with James Taylor.
Oh, really? Oh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think from 81 to, or 80, yeah, I think 81 to 86, 87, something like that. And I was still am a huge fan of James Taylor's.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's born a year to the day, March 12th. He's a year older than I am.
Oh, wow.
Last
Same
time
day.
I saw him. Yeah. I said, you're kind of like the canary in the coal mine for me. As long as you're doing good, so am I.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And Bonnie Raitt, too, another powerhouse.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, Bonnie. I was in Australia with the Doobie Brothers. We were in Melbourne, Australia. And Pat Simmons and I and Chris, Pat's wife, we went to hear Bonnie that night. And she named me from the stage one time, it was 20 times. So the time we were backstage, she was still on. She mentioned me another 3 to 5 times. I said, God, that $50 went a long way. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. That's awesome. That's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. Talk to me about Pink Floyd. That's kind of a different kind of a, I don't know, collaboration?
Yeah, Jeff Porcaro, who was the drummer for, God, he played with Steely Dan, but he was the drummer for Toto.
Yeah.
He says, hey, my friend David Gilmour wants you to play on this record. And I said, oh, okay, that sounds cool. And so I got the calls for, I think the session was at 10 in the morning. I went down there. Jeff and David were there. And Bob Ezrin, the producer, was there. And from the very first note to the last note of whatever I played on, I don't even remember, Ezrin goes, I want you to gliss up to the high C. Now I want you to play a D chord. Boy said D, F sharp, A. I mean, through the whole song, I just played what he asked me to play.
Wow.
And so I said, well, if that's what he wants, I'll just do that. Because Gilmour could have spoken up. Jeffrey might have. Neither one of them did, which is okay. But I just said, well, I'll just be this guy's vessel. The funny thing, though, if it's funny at all, is I was listening, or I actually went, with Google, you can search anything else. So I searched the album out, and then it said I played on at least another album or two.
Wow.
God, I don't remember playing on those records. So I was like, oh my God. Well, I used to play on a lot of albums, and it really got to the point where I was doing so much work that some of it was with memory, but a lot of it was just overload. Mm-hmm. And you think, well, how could you not remember the band Pink Floyd? But somehow that one slipped through the cracks a little bit between Engelbert Humperdinck and Paul Anka and
oh my gosh,
Rod Stewart, let's say.
Wow, amazing! What diversity you got there. You also played with Phil Lesh and friends.
I did. That was quite a few years ago, and Steve Kimmock was originally in that band. Yeah, and I love Kimmock. My gosh. But he decided at one point to drop out. Robin Ford came in. John Molo was still playing. Paul Brer and I were playing on that tour. And, I relearned, I should say, a lot about jamming and making signals on stage that Phil was quite adept at. Mm-hmm. To let people know when to pedal, kind of swim like your dog paddling at the deep end of a swimming pool, and then when it's time to start swimming towards the other side of the pool or a little further, where the heck you're going.
Yeah, Phil has that mastered, I think, for sure.
I think he does too, and he's an amazing guy, and not as a result of that tour or anything, but I wound up writing 20 songs with Robert Hunter.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, 4 of which people have heard on the album with Little Feat, called Rooster Rag, and the other 16 no one's ever heard. So
what are you going to do with them?
I'd like to cherry pick a couple and put them on the next Little Feat album.
Mm-hmm.
I've been writing also with Charlie Starr from Blackberry Smoke.
Wow.
I hope to write a tune or two with Scott Gerard. I'm writing something with Tony Leone, maybe a couple.
Wow.
Paul Muldoon, who's a Pulitzer Prize-winning poet. Muldoon teaches at Princeton. He used to hold the top chair at Oxford. Look his poetry up. We've got 9 songs.
Wow.
So we're not going to record everything that I've written with these guys, or it'd just be a Bill Payne record for the next 2 or 3 albums. But
right.
It is a band, which I'm a part of, and it's going to be a very strong album, given the fact that I'm bringing in what I've got. I know what Fred Tackett is capable of, and we'll see how everything else fits. Sam Clayton's going to be somebody, without spilling the beans there. Keep an eye on Sam Clayton.
Going to.
Next year or so.
Going to.
Yeah. I've got a couple of interesting things to involve him in, which I think everybody will love.
When did you start writing? Because I know you're a poet. You're a lot of things. You're a photographer and everything. When did composition start for you?
Musical composition started when I joined Little Feat.
Mm-hmm.
Lowell and I were writing kind of whacked out songs like more of a sexual orientation. 10,000 Whips was one of the songs. But it was sexual / the mother's invention.
Uh-huh.
Dance of the Nubile Virgin Slaves, which we played for Ahmed Erdogan, who was a producer for Ray Charles.
Yeah.
And Ahmed goes, boys, it's too diverse. It's the kind way of someone saying, go back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm.
Went back to the drawing board, we started writing Truck Stop Girl, Brides of Jesus, Gunboat Willie. I mean, a lot of songs that appeared on that very first Little Feat record.
Right.
Strawberry Flats was another one.
Wow.
But the song Truck Stop Girl, which I think is off that record, maybe it's on Salem, I can't remember now, but it really was one of the first songs we wrote. And it was a song that the Byrds recorded, which I took great pride in the fact that they did that. I was
yeah.
So that was a cool feather. But yeah, I mean, I wrote a couple of things, but nothing that could point to and say with any pride or purpose.
Right. But that's when it started for you. Yeah,
pretty much.
And I understand that it's your son that got you into photography.
Yes. I did a solo project called Cielo Norte, which means North Sky in Spanish. And my son had I think it was a 3 to 5 pixel camera. I said, hey, Evan, can I try that? So I pressed the shutter on it. It was like getting middle C as a child. I went, oh no, it just captured me hook, line, and sinker. And so I didn't become a photographer on the spot. In fact, there's one guy goes, yeah, so you're a dilettante at photography. I said, well, take a look at what I've done. He goes, oh, you actually are a photographer. Yeah. I said, well, you got to start someplace, but I take it seriously, and I have a pretty good eye. So
you really do. I mean, if people want to really check out your photography work, you have your own website, BillPayneCreative.com, and you can see some of your work there, and it's really quite impressive and remarkable. So bravo to you doing that. Do you I know some musicians that also do photography, like when you're on the road, do you take pictures on the road too?
I used to. I occasionally do, not as much as I used to. There's a different. I've got a different set of things that I need to kind of keep up on top of. Is once again in the leadership role with Little Feat.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some mighty help from Scott Gerard on that, by the way, who's a good co-pilot, as is Tony Leone.
Yep. You got two of the best right there.
Really, they're wonderful, and. But a lot of things fall into my lap. So but yeah, I'm a writer as well. You can check out some of my writing.
Yes,
it's not all about music, by the way. So, but there's a pretty good article, essay I call them, on Missy Hayward that is definitely worth checking out.
And that's on your Bill Payne Creative website?
Yeah,
Yeah.
BillPayneCreative.com.
Yeah.
That's photography, writing, etc. So it's a pretty good way to catch up on who I am and what I do.
Yeah, and there's so much depth to you that it's hard to just convey in, a 40-minute conversation or something. But I suggest people just, you're known for Little Feet, of course, and it's great and it's awesome, and I can't wait to see them. But there's like your poetry is exquisite. Your photography, there's so much to you, and when I saw your work online, it was like, wow, this is pretty incredible. I would like to read something, if I may, from your website, and I'm going to quote you, if I may. It says, "My foundation," quote, Bill Payne, "my foundation as an artist is the belief in the nobleness of the arts, and our effort as artists, writers, teachers, conveyors of thought is to be mindful of the challenge and the importance of what we do. The essence of our efforts, I believe, is to illuminate the path of a measured truth and to reflect and mirror that truth through the veil of our craft, taking aim at ourselves, our society, our world, with utmost respect to the awe and mystery of life, and with the essential focus on what is, what was, and perhaps most importantly, what might be," unquote. I just thought that was lovely, so I wanted to share that with the listeners and with you and tell you that was really lovely.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
What we do as artists is, to simplify it quite a bit, would be we're sharing what we have to say. And what we have to say is what we stumble upon, which hits us across the back of the head or straight in the noggin in the front, captures our attention, or recenters us, right? Mm-hmm. So the business of a measured truth, we're sitting in an age where a measured truth of anything is now in severe question, right?
Right.
But it doesn't have to be. We all have an equilibrium. We have a focal point within our systems that keep us on track as to what is right and wrong. And you can only BS yourself up to a point. And at some juncture, you got to hear that voice in the back of your head that says, "This is leading me in the right direction. This is nonsense. This is dangerous." Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. That's also what we share.
Right.
And I think those qualities they're not assigned to artists, they're assigned to human beings.
Right.
And history is proof of the shards of glass, blood, and treasure we crawl through. But we need to keep the higher emphasis on what helps us,
right,
as human beings. What would we want our children, our grandchildren, to walk away from a table on? Is it like doubting every institution that's been put in front of them as nonsense? Not if you live in a community. Mm-hmm. I say this to you because of the radio station you work with, Rita, mm-hmm. and the importance of community radio.
Absolutely.
It's there for something that binds us.
Yep.
It does not tear us apart.
Right.
It's there to help us. It's there for us to be inclusive with. This is it's part of our voice. It's not all of our voice, but as a part of our voice, that's what community is. And community / family / whatever it is we do in life, we all have a purpose.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, thank you for those words. I couldn't agree with you more on that. Yeah. So you got a couple of weeks off. You're going to be hitting the road again strong in a few weeks with Little Feet. You also are being joined, I don't know if every show, but you'll tell me, with the Midnight Ramble Horns.
We have what do we have? We have three more shows with the horns.
Yeah.
We're just we're going to reluctantly have to let them go. They'll be in Kingston with us, of course. They will be at called the UPAC, right?
Yes, yep. Ulster Performing Arts Center. Yep, in Kingston.
In Kingston.
Yep.
Kingston, love that place. And they will be with us in Portsmouth, which is the Capitol Theater.
Yes. Yeah. And by the way, since we're talking about it, I just want to tell listeners that Little Feat will be at the Capitol Theater in Portchester on September 20 and at UPAC in Kingston on September 23rd. I am going to be giving away a pair of tickets to UPAC shortly. Just please don't call yet. I'll let you know after this conversation is done. So you're going to be hitting the road again soon. I encourage listeners, obviously those diehard Feet fans are just like deadheads, littlefeet.net. They are, you've got the archivists, you've got them all going on, which is so cool. And you must see like this, a lot of the same people at a lot of the shows, right? They just follow you.
Well, we do. And we also, which we're grateful, the Grateful Dead. The Grateful Living too.
Yeah,
we are. We're also being joined by once again the cadre of younger people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been amazing to watch, and it speaks volumes about Little Feat and how 54 years into this thing, we can look at what this band is. And we can reflect on the fact that it really is it's more about the music, or everybody's as much about the music as it is who's been in the band.
Mm-hmm.
The music is a platform that carried us through, and Lowell was with us. He carried us through with Richie Hayward, with Paul Barrere, with Craig Fuller, with Sean Murphy. Richie and Paul are gone, of course. But we are mindful of that legacy, with that triumvirate of players and people, and I think we're doing it justice with this new band. It's tough to fool yourself when you're up there, playing music, and if an audience, if they're not going to be there, they've got a way of showing it, which is they don't show up.
Right.
You can't do anything anymore without people knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So we're hitting on all cylinders right now. The horn section, we love those guys. And I got to say, just very briefly, that Eric Lawrence, Steve Bernstein, and
Jay Collins. Yeah.
Those guys are flat out amazing.
Yep.
When we told them, look, we can't literally afford to bring you on the rest of this particular tour. We're going to keep you for these dates. I know a few people might have kind of said, "Oh yeah, okay, we understand." You got them on stage and played like in a flat, like they wouldn't have delivered.
Mm-hmm.
These guys stepped it up.
Mm-hmm.
They know that they're going to play with us on every show that we can bring them in on.
Right.
And they're like me. I mean, I play with other people. I don't have to be in a band to have a band attitude.
Right.
That's what I do.
Right.
And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
So we love those guys. I just adore them.
I do too. I know all three of them. They've all been on my show. I'm huge fans of them. And as a matter of fact, I think Jay Collins is at the show I'm going to see this weekend. So, Toombs Dixon's at Colony in Woodstock, and just the best. And they just amp up everything that they're a part of. Of course, the Midnight Ramble horns, so from Levon's and all of that too. So, and I know that you have a great relationship with Larry Campbell. And, he's a sweetheart.
Let's see Larry Campbell on the 13th at the Americana Music Awards.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know how much of that's public knowledge, but it's. I'm going to go back there and sneak in for a song at least.
Perfect. Well, I'll be.
Larry, Grease and I were really, really close. I love those guys.
Yeah.
And I've got with that whole entourage with Justin Guip, Connor Kennedy. I mean, just the Falcon with Lee Falco. And, I may as well live there as not. I mean, I it's a part of my DNA which I didn't realize until
Oh.
rather late in life. Eric has, but I'm associated with that area, and with the people that live there. And I feel completely at home every time I'm there. And I was just there before we had the start of a 5-week tour. I was recording with an Australian artist, and I went down to Nashville to record with another Australian recording artist named Tommy Manuel. I always have a tough time with names, so forgive me on that.
Oh yeah, no big deal. Yeah, no
Justin
problem.
Gwip was the
Engineer.
Played drums. Larry Campbell was producing. We had an absolute blast while we were back there.
Well, you are welcome to the Hudson Valley anytime. That's where we broadcast from. This is home. And, those shows at the Falcon, I will never forget them, that you did with Larry, Teresa, and that Entourage Connor in there, too. And, geez, man, do that again sometime. I'm serious. I hope you and Larry, I know you're all so busy and you've got crazy schedules, boy, but if you could sneak something in, there'd be a few of us that'd be forever grateful. Maybe do like a 2 or 3 night residency. Just food for thought, Bill. I don't know.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea, and one that I know that Larry would embrace, as would I, and Justin. And whoever. So it's.
I am sure Lee is carrying on the torch at the Falcon, and Lee Falco, right? And things are going.
His dad, man, he's got a special place in my heart forever.
Nobody like him.
Nobody like him.
No.
Exactly.
No.
Or a heart of gold, that man.
Absolutely. Every show that I do, I have Tony had a playlist, and every show that I host, I play a track of his playlist, and it's my little way of honoring him. So yeah.
Well, I tell you what, if anybody deserves it, it's him, and he just understood music, and he understood the mechanics of what it takes to play music.
Right.
And that's offered a perfect venue for people of all variety of musicians and musicianship.
Yep. So, I told my daughter, that's where my funeral's going to be. There's no place like it on the planet, and we could do a whole show just on the Falcon because it is extraordinary. So. Yeah. Well, I do hope that, maybe sometime you'll be back and you do something special there, and I know you'd be welcomed. And Bill, it's just a pleasure. I cannot wait to see Feet at UPAC. I just can't. And it's like home, and half the band, a lot of the band is from our area. So expect that place, that house, to be crazy that night. Just giving you a heads up.
Oh, this is we're ready.
Yeah, I know.
We're ready to have a party.
All right, good. Well, get a little more rest and then come on out, because we are ready for Little Feet. We're ready for you, Bill Payne. I cannot thank you enough for your time here today. It's the most precious gift we give each other. So thank you for your time here today. And I'll see you in Kingston, and safe travels along the road. And just remember to keep having fun, which I think you are. And you're just fantastic. So thank you for the gift of what you've given the world of music throughout all these decades, and continue to do so. I encourage people to look at your website, BillPayneCreative.com. Of course, littlefeet.net. You're going to be out on tour all over the country. Check out where they're going to be. Tickets available now. And Bill, thank you.
Rita, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Take care.
Yeah, I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye. That was fun. 91.3 WVKR, independent radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Bill Payne of Little Feet. The guest today. If you missed part of that interview, or you're just coming in on the end of it and want to hear the whole entire interview, it will be uploaded tonight on the LocalMotion on 91.3 WVKR YouTube channel. Please subscribe to that, as well as giving a like and a follow to the Facebook page by the same name. Now we're going to give away a pair of tickets to one very lucky listener. Here's the rules. You need to be able to go to the show. Please don't call just because you want to win a pair of tickets. You need to be able to go. The show is at Ulster Performing Arts Center, also known as UPAC in Kingston. And it's on Friday, September 23rd. You'll have to present ID. And and we're going to have a lucky winner calling us up right now at 845-437-7178. One lucky ticket winner, 845-437-7178. We are going to play a track of Little Feat. This is coming off there. The phones are going crazy. We are going to be playing a track from Little Feat's Waiting for Columbus special deluxe anniversary edition right now. You'll know this song if you're a Feat fan. Let's take a listen to Willin' here on 91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie.
I've been warped by the rain, driven by the snow, drunk and dirty, don't you know? And I'm still willing. And I was out on the road late at night, singing my pretty Alice in every headlight. Alice, Dallas, Alice. When I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari to Hatchapee to Tonopah, I've driven every kind of rig that's ever been made. Driven the back road so I wouldn't get weighed. And if you give me white sand wine, and you show me a sign, I'll be willing to be moving. Kicked by the wind, robbed by the sleet, had my head stowed in, but I'm still on my feet, and I'm still in a whole lot of trouble. Smuggle some smokes and folks from Mexico, baked by the sun every time I go to Mexico, and I'm still. From Tucson to Tucumcari to Hatchapee to Tonopah, I've driven every kind of rig that's ever been made. Driven the back road so I wouldn't get weighed. And if you give me weed,
91.3 WVKR Little Feat Willin' off the 45th anniversary deluxe edition of Waiting for Columbus. Today's guest, Mr. Bill Payne. And congratulations to Susan from Saugerties for being the lucky ticket winner. The phones really were lighting up. So tickets are available. You can still purchase them to see Little Feat at UPAC in Kingston. You can go to bardavon.org to get tickets to see them. And it's at UPAC in Kingston. James Maddock is actually opening up that show, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think what I'll do is I'll do one more Little Feat song, and then we'll start off the 5 o'clock hour with a dedication to Tony Falco. Let's keep it going here with Little Feat, Spanish Moon, 91.3.
Just the same, and if that
91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. We're broadcasting live from the beautiful campus at Vassar College, right in Poughkeepsie. 5:02 p.m. It's Wednesday. I'm your host, Rita Ryan, here each and every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m., bringing you LocalMotion, a show focused all about music in the Hudson Valley. So we interview musicians that live here, those that come to perform here, and those coming to record in our world-class area recording studios. Thank you to Bill Payne of Little for being today's guest. That was a lot of fun. And congratulations again to Susan from Saugerties for being the winner of the tickets to go see Little Feat at Ulster Performing Arts Center in Kingston on September 23rd. So tickets still available. And Little Feat will also be playing at Portchester Capitol Theater on September 20th. That's a Tuesday night. So depending on where you are in the listening area, Portchester September 20, Kingston September 23rd. Little Feat is the band. And they will be joined both shows by the Midnight Ramble Horns. So you're going to have some fun. That's a lot of fun. And Susan's going to have some fun because she won those tickets. We got another hour here of local music, and every show that I host where I don't have a guest on during that hour, I start off by paying tribute to Tony Falco. He passed away October 28th of 2021 and left us with many things. And one of the things he left us with was a playlist, and I've been going through that playlist every week and picking a track. It's pretty much in order of how I see the playlist. And this week, is Roger Daltrey. Let's take a listen and let's send some thoughts and love to Tony Falco watching over us. 91.3 WVKR.
I paid all my dues, so I picked up my shoes. I got up and walked away. Oh, I was just a boy. I didn't know how to play. Worked hard and failed. Now all I can say is I threw it all away. Oh, I was just a boy, giving it all away. Sail away, sail away. Ooh, well, I know better now. I know better now. Giving it all away. Ooh, well, I know better now. I know better now. Giving it all away. Went out in the world, too much for my nerves, only myself to blame. Oh, I was just a boy, nobody else to blame. I've done all I can, now it's out of my hands. Stand on my head and say, oh, I was just a boy, giving it all away. Sail away, sail away. Ooh, well, I know better now. I know better now. Giving it all away. Ooh, well, I know better now. I know better now. boy, giving it all away. I was just a boy, giving it all away. Just a boy.
Black lady, a slow train out of Memphis. I think I might just be able to face the truth. When I come back home to you, baby, back home to you, give me 1,000 miles to drink, a couple hundred more to think about what I'm gonna tell you, about the lies I'm gonna sell you, about all the tragedies that befell me, and what the devil made me do. Oh yeah, baby. Give me a cup of 2 or 3 Percocets and a half an ounce of weed. I gotta get my mind frame set, all the things that you're gonna need when I face the truth. When I come back home to you, give me 1,000 miles to drink, a couple hundred more to think about what I'm gonna tell you, about the lies I'm gonna sell you, all the tragedy that befell me, and what the devil made me do. Oh, when it comes to my heart, baby, now you hold the key, and you jack that key right down the side of my brand new Mercury, and you make me wish that I never ever been born. But I ain't in no hurry, the recollections blur. Hell has no fury like a little woman scorned, baby. Down that pistol, woman, I swear that I can't change. But I regret all the time we spent down at the firing range. And now revenge is sweet, woman, I swear forgiveness is divine. Just give me 3 steps, give me 3 steps, baby, I swear I'll be just fine. Give me 1,000 miles a day, a couple hundred more to think about what I'm gonna tell
91.3 WVKR. If you like what you heard there by Chris O'Leary, you can go see him live tonight at the Falcon in Marlborough. Chris O'Leary has a CD release show happening there tonight. I believe the show starts around 7:30. You don't have to buy a ticket. You just give him a call or make a reservation online at liveatthefalcon.com. Chris O'Leary, blues guy, will be there tonight. We just heard the track called What the Devil Made Me Do off the release 7 Minutes Late, which came out in 2018 on American Showplace Music. And like I said, he does have a new CD out. ChrisO'LearyBand.net is the website, and live tonight at the Falcon. Go check them out. We started the hour off with a track from Tony Falco's playlist. Tony passed away on October 28th of 2021, and every week here we feature a track from Tony's playlist. And this week we heard Roger Daltrey, Giving It All Away. Lyricist on that was Leo Sayer, and that was the single from his debut album released in April of 1973, Daltrey, Giving It All Away. And thank you, Tony, for choosing such a beautiful song. I always love Tony's taste of music. It's all over at the place, and if you go to his Spotify playlist, you'll see what I'm talking about. And let's see, we've got another icon here in the Hudson Valley who will be performing at the Woodstock Playhouse this month. Let's take a listen. This was an amazing conversation I had with Jack DeJeanette here on the show. I don't know, last year sometime. Like I said, all of the interviews are archived and uploaded on the LocalMotion on 91.3 WVKR YouTube channel. Please subscribe. You can keep up with everything that's going on. And Jack is uploaded on there somewhere. It was pretty amazing time being able to spend some time talking with him. And I'll tell you all about his shows coming up. Let's take a listen first. The master, the legendary Mr. Jack DeJeanette here on 91.3.
Lohina idinila hi ahane kaminina Lohia da idehesti eche idinela hi eche idinela hi kuste itada doni hi kuste itada doni hi the body, oh, golly, go ha. Tilogi, Ilinela.
ain't got a lot of money to spend. I ain't got just one good friend. My cards are down and my chips cashed in. Is this beginning or is this the end? Life is hard and I'm feeling down, living here on the edge of town. And when I get back on my feet, I get back on the easy street. I drive an old beat up car. I only drive it to and from the bar. I drink tequila and sometimes gin. I don't remember just where I've been. Life is hard and I'm feeling down, living here on the edge of town. And when I get back on my feet, I get back on easy street. Just a young man, I played music in a rock and roll band, singing, dancing all night long. They would come just to hear our song. As the years gone pass on by, I just sit here and wonder why. While I was hard and I'm feeling down, living here on the edge of town. And when I get back on my feet, I get back on the easy street. While I was hard and I'm feeling down, living here on the edge of town. And when I get back on my feet, I get back on the easy street.
All right, 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Brand new music. I just received it, I think this week or very recently. The Acoustic Medicine Show, Joe Tobin. Thanks for sending this my way. We heard this new CD called Back to Easy Street, and the track, this is 15 tracks on this CD. The track 1, Easy Street, is what we heard. So this was mixed and mastered at Target Studios in Red Hook, produced by Mark Moss and Joe Tobin. Lots of great musicians on here. The Acoustic Medicine Show. Check it out. Really nice release. And I need to listen to more of it, but I've gotten about 4 or 5 tracks in, and it's pretty cool. So hope you enjoy that. Always enjoy receiving new music here, because that's what this show is all about, music of the Hudson Valley. So congratulations to Joe Tobin and the Acoustic Medicine Show with the new release, Back to Easy Street. We also heard music by the legendary Jack DeJohnette, his album Music for the Fifth World. We heard the track 2 Guitar Chant. Jack is going to have a few shows coming up in